Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, breaking down some Toronto Raptors news. That's right, we have a Toronto Raptors news update to provide to you guys, and I've seen a lot of people frustrated with the Toronto Raptors, and specifically Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster following this year's trade deadline, following the moves that were made. There were some rumored moves, whether it be getting Talen Horton-Tucker or Nerlens Noel, Stinky Pinky Kristaps Porzingis, but we ended up getting Thaddeus Young. I was happy with the return, Thaddeus Young, but we've dropped 4 of 5 games against not the most upper echelon of competition over the last little while, so there's been some frustration amongst Raptors fans, but reinforcements are incoming. And Masai Ujiri has brought in a familiar face to this Toronto Raptors team. We have re-signed DJ Wilson to another 10-day contract. He'll be available versus Brooklyn tonight. This has come from Josh Lewenberg throughout the day today, and really, we leaked it. We leaked this report. We knew it before anyone else because our base bar down below that obviously shows the stats of all the players in our post-game reactions following the game, they had DJ Wilson up there just randomly, mysteriously. He appeared in the base bar for whatever reason. You know, the AI that scrapes all this data knows before all of us. But DJ Wilson, he's a guy that's caught a lot of Raptors fans' eyes during his short tenure with the Toronto Raptors during the hardship exemption days. If you look at his stats for the season with the Toronto Raptors, 8 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals. He was a hustler, shooting 70% from the field, which is absolutely ridiculous. 0% from the three-point line, but has shown that he's a capable three-point shooter at times while on the Milwaukee Bucks and Oklahoma City Thunder and teams past. He's 6'10", he's very mobile, and he kind of fits what the Toronto Raptors need to do, right? I think I've been saying it consistently with DJ Wilson. You know, unless you're getting a super high potential guy like a DeMarcus Cousins, because even for all the downs that he could potentially, or the Raptors locker room, it's going to be fine. DeMarcus Cousins has been less of a locker room head case, it feels like, in recent seasons, and if he ever was one, he's definitely a head case on the court occasionally, but he's not usually a chemistry destroyer, right? We got some flame for that, but you know, the super high upside free agents, I'm going to talk about a couple of them in this video as well. Unless we can get one of them that can really be a game changer, I think DJ Wilson's the perfect sort of safe pick for the Toronto Raptors, because for all the things I mentioned, he fits what we do. The long boy team, the long athletic defenders that are capable on the offensive end of the floor that can shoot. DJ Wilson arguably does that a bit better than some of the guys we already have, you know, particularly the way Khem Birch has been playing recently. He can sort of fulfill those center spots, especially with OG Anunoby now, and hopefully get legitimate minutes on this team and show what he can do, because he looked very, very solid for this Toronto Raptors team he looked like our best player when when our entire team was out with health and safety protocols. So he's a guy that does all that. He has good hands. He reads the game very well, and he's motivated. He's killing it down in the G League. He's bringing the energy. So the question really is, right, and we've talked about it, that's why I'm not diving too deep into, you know, the DJ Wilson signing, the players. You can check back previous videos. We've seen what he does. The lanky smooth, got a quality Instagram game as well, right? He's a solid player, but the question is, will he actually get minutes on this Raptors team, and will they end up signing him for the rest of the season? Because he's on a 10-day right now. It's the second 10-day of the season. His 10-day was extended initially with the hardship exemption. It was a weird thing that the Raptors were doing, but he ended up leaving the team. Now he's back, and during his second his other 10-day contract with the Raptors, when the main rotation pieces were back, Lanky Smooth got kind of pushed to the end of the bench. Didn't really get an opportunity to get out there on the court, despite the fact he was playing remarkably well for this team. And you know, not to get on the precious propaganda, but he was struggling at that point. I know a lot of people were calling for DJ Wilson to take some of Precious's minutes, but he's been looking on fire since that Rising Stars game. I think he could come in now with the OG Anunoby injury, the struggles of Khem Birch, and say, at least get an opportunity. He's a veteran. I'd consider him sort of a veteran in the NBA right now. He's 26 years old. He's played with a bunch of teams. He's a G leaguer. I think I'd like to see Nick Nurse, especially where we don't run the deepest of rotations, throw him out there, see what he can do, see if he can play the big man position. Obviously, there's been a lot of question marks. We do have Thaddeus Young on the roster now, who's taking up those Goran Dragic minutes. I'm playing this animation as much as I can, but even with the addition of that, I think we just got to try it. The Raptors are running the big lineup. They're a new age system. There's been question marks about how everything looks on the court. I know our half-court offense at times has looked horrific with the big lineups just because Fred VanVleet, he's improved as a playmaker. He's done a good job at sort of stepping up being the leader of the team, but I don't know if you'd call him, a natural facilitator in that sense. He's more of a scoring guard, right? Looks for his own. Don't know. It's definitely taken leaps and bounds this season in terms of facilitating, but not the Kyle Lowry level sort of playmaker for your squad, but still there. But outside of Fred, you don't have a lot of creators on this team. Thaddeus Young can do it from the center position, the big man position. He's not really playing center, but the big lineup, there's question marks about it. It's a work in progress, and it was working prior to the deadlines and all that sort of stuff. We were on an 8-game win streak, but people have brought into question, particularly in the half court. I think our defense still looks solid on nights where we just don't completely fall apart and look lethargic, and the transition stuff has always been solid for the Toronto Raptors. So DJ Wilson can plug into that. I think he's a bit more mobile than Thaddeus, than Kem Birch. So that's solid. And Chris Boucher is pretty mobile himself. He gets out to shot. He's a good close. He closes out pretty quickly. So I think DJ Wilson's a bit more conservative on the defensive end, even though he's pretty athletic. But I think there's a role for DJ Wilson to come in, get some minutes, see what he can do. Now, that's me rambling about DJ Wilson for the past 6.5 minutes. However, will he stay on this team? I do think he'll get some run. I think Nick Nurse will give him a shot, right? Take up those Yuta Watanabe minutes. But if there are any Yuta Watanabe minutes to be had. But will he be the 10-day guy? There's one player that I wanted to do a video on last week, but I didn't have any Wi-Fi at my house. Didn't have any Wi-Fi at my house this morning. It's been a complete mess for me. But Tyreke Evans has been reinstated into the NBA. He's been in talks with the former NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, and he's a guy that I think should be a target for the Toronto Raptors. He's a guy that obviously isn't the most sniper, isn't a guy that snipes shots from 3, isn't known as a super lockdown defender by any means, but there's one area that I think the Toronto Raptors could certainly use, and it's playmaking ability. And Tyreke Evans, he has the size to play with this Toronto Raptors lineup. Obviously, the Masai Ujiri loves those long boys, right? But he can come in at that backup guard position. I've always think he's been sort of misplayed, the ball out of his hands on the wing and stuff. I think he could sort of come in. There's been question marks about Malachi Flynn. There's been question marks about Delano Banton. Can they consistently play? Can they not? The jury's still out. Long term, I think they're both going to be fine NBA players, Delano especially. But backup point guard this year as we make a playoff run, you can't really trust him. You can't trust him at this point. Tyreke Evans can come in, play a multitude of positions, can have the ball in his hands as sort of a facilitator, a creator. And I started off this podcast saying that, or I said it a few minutes ago, that we've struggled having guys that sort of orchestrate the offense, that can get things going for other people. I feel like Tyreke Evans is a guy that's on the free agent market that has proven if he can do one thing, he can do that for your team at the wing position. Wouldn't necessarily, move Fred out of the way. You bring him off the bench. He's not taking any of our star boy minutes. But DJ Wilson, he's a guy I'm excited about. Again, he's the safe pick, but the same way DeMarcus Cousins, he's been re-signed to the Denver Nuggets for the rest of the season. But you want that risk? You want that piece that could potentially put you over the top, that missing piece that energize the squad? Tyreke Evans. Now, there's question marks about the reason he was suspended for a couple seasons. Is he going to be in game shape? Right? Is he hopefully healthy? Is he ready to go? I'm assuming they wouldn't say he's reinstated and teams are looking at him if he wasn't healthy and ready to go, but there's question marks there. I don't know. I think that's a guy that the Raptors should definitely look at and see, but maybe they would have signed him. Maybe they... We're just a fan reaction podcast. I got no insights into anything that's actually coming out what the front office is looking at, but if I was Masai Ujiri, he's a guy I'd take a deep, hard inquiry about because... could be cool. But DJ Wilson, I'm happy with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. You're the best maker this far. Check out the Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok, all that cool stuff. The channel memberships, all that stuff is popping. Popping. But anyways, enough of me rambling. You guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.